Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Rebeca Mira, and I am honored to present our systematic review entitled Commonly Used Endocrine Disruptor Drug in Neurodevelopmental Disorders, a Systematic Review. This research brings together the work of an interdisciplinary team deeply concerned with the increasing rates of neurodevelopmental disorders and the potential role of widely used medications in shaping early brain development. Today, we'll explore how a drug as familiar and commonly used as acetaminophen might not be as innocuous as once believed, especially when exposure occurs during vulnerable windows such as pregnancy or early infancy. Neurodevelopmental disorders, or NDDs, such as ADHD and autism spectrum disorders, have increased significantly over the last 2 decades. While better diagnostics may explain part of this rise, growing attention is being paid to environmental risk factors, especially endocrine disrupting chemicals, or EDCs. One of the most surprising candidates is acetaminophen, also known as paracetamol. A drug once considered safe is now under scrutiny for its potential impact on fetal brain development. Acetaminophen is used globally by pregnant women, infants, and young children. Emerging evidence suggests it may interfere with hormonal systems during pregnancy and early life, altering brain development. We therefore set out to review all relevant literature, examining whether acetaminophen could act as an endocrine disruptor and contribute to neurodevelopmental disorders. This was a PRISMA-guided systematic review. We searched 4 major databases: PubMed, Scopus, Web of Science, and Embase, using combinations of terms like acetaminophen, endocrine disruptor, autism, and ADHD. We included only peer-reviewed original studies published between 2000 and 2025. The final data set included 74 studies, 31 human epidemiological studies, 22 in vivo animal models, 21 in vitro mechanistic studies. Human studies consistently reported associations between prenatal or perinatal acetaminophen exposure and increased risk of ADHD or ASD. For example, a 2023 cohort study in JAMA Psychiatry involving over 70,000 mother-child pairs showed a dose-dependent relationship between maternal acetaminophen use and ADHD. A meta-analysis in 2024 confirmed elevated ASD risk when exposure occurred in the 2nd trimester. In rodent models, acetaminophen exposure during gestation led to reduced hippocampal volume, poorer performance in learning tasks, altered anxiety-related behavior, disrupted sex hormone signaling. These effects were stronger when exposure occurred during peak synaptogenesis. At the molecular level, acetaminophen reduces circulating thyroxine, T4, crucial for brain development, downregulates thyroid hormone receptors in neural cells, causes oxidative stress and mitochondrial dysfunction, alters DNA methylation in genes like BDNF and NR3C1, both involved in neuronal plasticity. Taken together, the evidence from human, animal, and cellular studies converges on a plausible biological pathway. Although causality is not fully confirmed, the consistency and coherence of findings strongly justify a precautionary approach. Of course, some limitations must be noted. Most human studies rely on maternal self-report, which may lead to misclassification. Timing and dosage of acetaminophen exposure are often imprecise. Translating animal findings to humans always presents challenges. Despite limitations, we believe the implications are serious enough to recommend. 1. Clinical caution during pregnancy. Only use acetaminophen if strictly necessary. 2. Educating parents. Use the lowest effective dose for the shortest possible time. 3. Regulatory revision. Update product labeling, especially for pregnancy. 4. Better surveillance. Track neurodevelopment in children with early acetaminophen exposure. We also call for longitudinal cohort studies with precise exposure assessment, mechanistic research using omics technologies, identification of high-risk subpopulations based on genetic or environmental factors. In conclusion, acetaminophen may no longer be as harmless as once believed. There is sufficient evidence to raise concern and trigger re-evaluation of clinical guidelines. Until we know more, the precautionary principle should guide both medical practice and public health policy. This research was not funded by any pharmaceutical or commercial entities. Thanks to the peer reviewers whose comments helped improve the clarity and scope of our analysis. And special thanks to all the researchers whose work we reviewed. Thank you for your critical contributions to this important and evolving field. Thank you for your attention. I welcome your questions and look forward to a constructive discussion.